Welcome to the market garden. Quick update on the progress so far. We've transformed ancient pasture grass with a root system that goes down perhaps 35-40 centimetres into the earth. Very difficult to remove. Close tussocky grass, lots of fescue, lots of fantastic biodiversity, but also an amazingly high level of microbes, mites, diatoms, nematodes, lots of things living in there which are very beneficial to crops. So how do you preserve all that but remove the grass? And what we've done is we've put down this membrane, which is a semi-permeable membrane, for the last few months. It's been down about 6 months, and what it does is it excludes light pretty much from the grass, which kills the grass, but it doesn't disturb the soil, and of course doesn't require any cultivation equipment. It's a very passive method of removing a crop, sometimes described as a tarpaulin method, and it gives me a soil which is still alive, it's still very biodiverse, very high in organic material, but of course it's now lacking any root structure of plants. So once we remove this membrane, once we take the membrane off, there's a danger that the soil will desiccate and dry. And of course, the minute that soil is exposed to the sun, you get the Fenton reaction, which is an oxidation reaction, which causes a lot of problems with nutrients, makes the soil much harder to grow in later on. So it's really important that the minute I remove the membrane, literally within half an hour, and I normally do it at the end of the day so the soil's not exposed to too much heat, I'll sow strips of green manure. For example, here we've got white mustard, we've got the crimson clover, and we've got buckwheat, and we've got more crimson clover and buckwheat and phacelia. All of these green manures are living in soil which is very much alive, but their role is not just to protect the soil from sunlight, it's also to protect the soil from oxidation, which is a very damaging property that can happen, and inject lots and lots of sugar and chemicals from their root exudates into the soil, which will feed the microbiome. And what that also does is it causes a thing called soil aggregation, where the soil becomes much more crumbly, and that increases the chance of seed germination if I sow direct, and makes it much easier to plant. Also raises the organic level in the soil dramatically. I'm not having to apply any manure here, I'm not having to apply any fertilizers. I'm literally recycling what's already in the soil and making it extremely good for the next crop. But I can't use the same green manure on every patch because different crops work with different green manures, and we'll do a video on how the green manures work with certain crops and which crops to avoid later on. But as you can see, it's a large area produced very quickly with minimum inputs, and this is the no-dig regenerative organic approach, and this land is all in conversion at the moment and will be certified organic in 2026. So that's where we've got to so far on these plots.